been a very long time since I did a real-time video for one of my projects. So today I wanted to present to you one of my latest scenes, animated scenes that I was working on, and it turned out really well. So I experimented a lot with a lot of things. It took me, I think, a month to develop this scene because it has animation and a lot of other stuff, XGen and whatnot. So today in this video I wanted to show you how I did the displacement maps for the walls. So for example, if you have a look at the pictures, there, I'm gonna come closer as well. So I was thinking maybe we can just do this kind of wall. I've exported the two windows so we can do displacement map on this wall to show you how I actually did it. Look how nicely the stones are there. I'm so proud of it. Anyways, just to let you know what I actually used in this project, and if you're interested in me doing videos on any of the things, just let me know. For example, for the fence, I did quite a detailed modeling, and I used low poly to high poly baking. That's the word, baking, in Substance Painter. But I did quite a few different models, so it's not every wooden part is not the same. As you can see on the picture, there is quite a lot of detail. I'm really proud of it. It took me a while. For the grass, I used XGen plus Maya's grass paint effect. For the windows, I did again like the fence. I did them detailed, and I can show you how I did it. If you're interested, just let me know. But today I was thinking to walk you through the process that I used for creating the displacement map for the walls specifically, because it took me a while to kind of figure it out how to do it. Even though I was watching video tutorials on how to do a displacement map, I still run into some kind of problems. The other thing is that if you have a big scene like this one, this is a huge scene. I'll show you the scene in Maya. It's a huge scene, and it's like even the roof is detailed. Every tile is a single object. So when you add the grass, the paint effect, the textures, because I've used 4K textures as well, detailed geometry, because the fence, for example, I had to have geometry even for the high point, for the map to be baked. I still had to have quite a lot of geometry there. I'll show you, for the models to look actually nice and not just low poly and just like snap the texture on it, so it's got some kind of not flatness to the whole scene. The other thing is, what else did I use? Let me have a look. The trees are from my paint effect as well. If you're interested, for me to show you how I actually transfer the textures for Arnold to be rendered, because they're with Maya textures, and most of them have ramps as well. So there is a little bit of a trick to using the trees and the grass paint effect in rendering in Arnold. If it makes sense what I'm saying. Let me know if you want me to show you how I did it. But yeah, for the ground I used displacement map as well. I had a bit of a trouble there as well, because when I added the displacement map, it somehow, maybe it's me, I don't know, but somehow, because we are adding the Cut-Clark subdivision modifier, and when I added it to the ground, and because it's got these bumps, it's not like a flat ground, I try to do little bumps here, little bumps there, so it doesn't look flat. And when I added it, and it was like halfway through my fence, but because it was adding the displacement map in rendering, it wasn't in my scene. So what I did, I actually baked the displacement map onto the ground, so I can kind of place my objects. Otherwise it was quite tricky. And having such a big scene, rendering and testing everything. That's one of the things I want to show you today with the displacement maps. How you can check how it's going to look after you add the modifier and the displacement map. So so you don't wait for it to render and then amend the subdivision level, amend the height and whatnot. So today we will be doing as well baking the displacement map onto the geometry. So you see how it looks, and then you can leave it with those settings for rendering. Otherwise, it's quite a lot of geometry, and it's becoming a really heavy scene actually. Baking it into especially if it is like something like stones and tiles, and it needs quite a lot of height. It makes sense what I'm saying, but we will looking into the walls today, only into the walls. If you want me to do one for the ground, what did I do? Did I just place it in the bin? Never mind. So yeah, this is the rendered pictures. I've rendered those on HD 720. Yes, these are rendered on HD 720. The original animation, which I'm not gonna show you now, the original animation I've rendered on 540, HD 540, because there is meteor fluid. If you see the smoke here with that nice emissive object there, that's part of my animation. You will see. Hopefully in a few months I will be ready with some of the scenes. Well, hopefully. Well, let's not talk about that now. So this is one of the fluid Maya examples. I'll show you which one I used. It's called Meteor or something. And this one in the beginning, when it's further away, here in the beginning, what are you doing? Seriously? So in the beginning, you can't see it. This frame, and this frame. So when it starts here, it was taking about, let me see, 4K maps I had for most of the stuff, I think. Not for most, for all of the stuff I used 4K, because then I get really close with the animation. If I wasn't going so close, maybe I would have used 2K maps. I would have tested it with 2K maps, but because I was going so close here, you can see how close, so it shows where it actually lands the meteor. I used 4K because I don't think it would have looked nice with 2K. It wouldn't have been enough. Well, never mind, I wanted it really nice. So in the beginning, with the fluid, this is fluid, so we know how long it takes usually to render fluid, right? So in the beginning, when it's further away, it was taking about 40 minutes for that whole picture on HD 720. But I've got a stronger machine I'm rendering on. Today I'm working on my slower machine, so fingers crossed it's not gonna, no problem. But yeah, I've got a Mac Studio and I'm rendering on it. So this was taking about 40 minutes for one frame, and this one here, it was taking 3 hours for one frame. Yeah, so that's why I rendered the whole animation. For the animation itself, I rendered it on HD 540, because otherwise I would have been rendering until Christmas, right? I've got 2 more scenes ready, which are quite heavy as well. The next scene after this one is actually inside the house. It's really nice. Once I'm ready with the final rendering, before I start actually rendering, I'll need to animate the characters and whatnot. I've got 3 characters in that scene and other stuff. And then I created the next scene, which is again environment, inside environment, but a little bit different. And this one will take quite a long time as well. So because of the textures and the details that I put into the scenes, it takes a while, so I need to compromise. You can see here there is a little bit of noise on top. But, in animation, I mean, nobody will notice that, because the animation goes so quickly. This one is, I don't know, 180 frames? I can't really remember. Nevertheless, you've seen the pictures. I hope you like them. I really like them. It's really interesting, and I decided to do separate videos, for displacement map. I was thinking maybe I would do one for the lighting as well, because a lot of people were asking me about lighting, camera, and rendering, stuff like this. So I'm gonna do separate video on that as well. Let me know if you're interested on anything else, like for example how I did the grass, because I did a combination of XGen and Paint Effect. How I applied the textures from Maya's Paint Effect to be rendered in Arnold. The flags are actually Maya Paint Effect as well, and they're actually animated. It's really cool. It's really, really nice. It's hardly noticeable, but it's really cool. I know it's there. Okay, so yeah, I think that's it. I wanted to say everything about the detail and whatnot. So let me know. Let me show you. Where's my? There you go. Get my outline. Okay, so that's the scene in Maya. Obviously not in textured mode. If I hit textured mode on that slow machine, it's probably gonna break Maya. Nevertheless, okay, let me open the environment. The environment here, it's with the trees and the grass and everything else. Wow, additional grass, I think. Okay, there you go, and the fence, you can see. So I've got clouds as well. That's my perspective camera. I've got, sometimes I work with few cameras. Okay, so you see how slow it is? I'm even afraid to click on something because it's gonna break my. I've got clouds. I've used for the meteor. That's my meteor, right? And you can see it's a fluid one. I'm not gonna apply it. I've actually how do you say it? I've cached it, and it's still quite slow. Even when I've cached it, it's still quite slow. The clouds I've used as well. Let me show you where you can find the meteor and so I'll get a brush, the meteor and the clouds. So the clouds are from, I think they're both from there, from the fluid examples in Maya. Clouds, so I've used one of those, I don't remember which ones, I think it was Cloud Sun. What does it say? Yeah, so I've used Cloud Sun. Yeah. And I'm obviously not using the light there because that's another thing. We're going to talk about lights and cameras and whatnot in a different video, because this one otherwise it's going to get really, really long. I just wanted to present to you the whole project as a whole. The whole project as a whole. Oh, that's silly. Never mind. The whole project. So you let me know if you want me to do a detailed real-time video on something that I did for this scene. So let me know, yeah? So the clouds are from here. So get a brush, generate, get brush, and then we go to fluids examples, clouds and fog. I really love using these clouds. I've used them in my other two scenes as well. And then I think the meteor was from here. Yes, there you go. So space, and I think I've used this one or the auto resize. I'm not too sure. What does it say here? Ah, yes. So I've used the auto resize one. Yeah. Feel free to play with it. It's really, really cool. I mean, like, that's why I love Maya. It's got so many nice stuff that you can play with, and it saves you so much time, and it gives me ideas as well. So yeah, pretty much that's it. I don't dare to hit texture mode because I think Maya will crash, and I don't want Maya to crash. So that's the scene as a whole. Let me quickly show you. So that's how I've created it. It's very heavy. Yeah, for the fence, if I click on one of the fence, look how heavy the geometry is. But because I wanted, and it's still, you can see how much baking I've done, because it's still not like really smooth, is it? And I've reduced it as much as I could, but if I wanted the detail, I had to have the geometry there. You know, I wasn't going for a low poly anyways. So yeah, that's it. So let's get to our displacement map. I created one scene. Where is it there? Nope, it's this one. Oh, okay, I want to save. Because I've opened the environment. If I save it with the environment open, then it's going to be opening the file for like 5 minutes. I can go and get a cup of coffee while it's opening it. Okay, so what I did, I exported my ground and 2 of the windows. So we can create one wall, yeah? we can quickly model one wall, and I'll show you tricks and stuff that I've learned while I was doing my scene. Okay, so here I can go on in texture mode. The ground is, like I said, I've already baked it, so you can see it's got the detail and everything, but I've used displacement map first and then I baked it onto it. This window is black because I've used UV maps, you know, so I get all that nice detail. These ones are fine because they're detailed enough, and I just baked it and it's fine. But yeah, this is black because of that. Otherwise it's the nice color that we have here. You can see. So these are these two windows I've exported, this one and this one. Yeah, you can see the nice detail, and I even have the hatches and everything. I mean, like, seriously, it took me so much time, but I'm so proud of it. Okay, let's go back to this. Let's quickly do a wall, yeah, so we don't go too much, so the video doesn't get too long, because you're gonna get bored and you're gonna leave me. Please don't leave me. I'm sure you can find something, you know, that will be useful for you. Okay, so I'm creating a cube. Go all the way up. Okay. So here. Here. Okay. Where is it gonna go? Our let's put the end of the wall there. What I usually do is, usually, especially for walls, it's really nice to just work with the plane first, right? It's quicker, I find it quicker, and it's easier. And the other thing is that I've got an inside scene, so I had to have space to flip that one over. Plus, you don't want to be rendering displacement map on something which is not visible anyways, right? So I'll show you what I was doing. Okay, so this will go here. Center pivot. Okay, so let's get that to the ground. Okay, let's get that all the way up where we want it. Shall we put it there? Okay, fair enough. Alright, let's move all the way here. Yeah, shall we leave it there? Yeah, let's have some space so we see the nice detail. We're gonna choose some nice texture. Okay, right, let's do the holes for the windows. Yeah, let's do quickly cut. Let's cut it here. No, let's go to just there. 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 This one is tricky. I remember this one was because it's not square, right? So I had to add, well, we still need to add some geometry, because otherwise I'll show you why. Okay, let's switch that off, the multi-cut off. Okay, let's delete this one. So we've got a window. What did I do? Oh, I deleted my glass one. I've got the glass plane there, you can see it. Okay, there we are. Okay, and we've got a window there. This one is easy. The square ones are like easy peasy. Okay, this one is a little bit tricky. Okay, so I need to add, because you see this one is there, this one is there, so I'm gonna add one more cut here. Okay, so I would need a cut here, here, and here. Yeah, so what I can do is, I'm just gonna put this up a little bit, right, put this down. Let's go into, okay, that's very tricky here. What did I do here? I think I added one more cut there. We'll need the cut anyways. go back here and delete those faces so I can hide the other vertices, you know, so it's not that stretched, because we need to think about afterwards the subdiv as well. That was one of the trickiest things that I had to figure out. Okay. Okay, so let's get one here, yeah, and this go up. Perfect. Okay, it looks okay. Yeah, right. Okay, let's save. The other thing now, the thing that we need to think about before we do anything is. We're gonna have trouble here. Let's see. Nevertheless, okay. Okay, perfect. Okay. Yeah. Let's check. Let's extrude it first. Right? Is it the whole thing? Yes, the whole thing. Okay, select the edges, Control E, move back, and that's what you want. Yeah, you want this missing. You don't want to be rendering anything there. Plus, what I did is I took that wall and then I flipped it around to create my inside wall. Yeah, okay, so that's too big, but nevertheless, it's gonna give us some space so we can work with the displacement map and show you a few stuff. Okay, so one thing we need to check now is I need you to check how it's gonna look smoothed. So I'm hitting 3, that's how it looks smoothed. So if it looks like that, the subdiv is gonna mess up the texture here because we don't have enough for the subdiv, right? So look at here as well. So what we need to do now is we need to do some more cutting. So multi-cut, Control, and we start cutting. There is probably other different ways of doing this, but that's how I did it, how I figured it out, and you know, it worked for me. So I hope you find it useful. Okay, we just keep adding until we have the edges that we need, because using the displacement map, we're going to be using the Cut-Clark subdivision, and that's what it's doing. It's actually smoothing it. So if it looks okay in a smooth mode, that's fine. You're good to go, right? So, but you see here edge. Look at the edge. If I click on the edge, look how curly it is. That's how the texture will be, and that's not what we want, is it? So just keep adding until you have the straight lines. Yeah. Obviously, you don't want to be adding as much, especially if you're going for something like low or whatnot. But you'll figure it out, you know. This is my personal project, so I can add as much geometry as I can afford. But sometimes we don't have that luxury, do we? So, shall I do one here? Still curly a little bit here. Let's try it out. Yay! Ah, still curly there. Seriously? Come on. You're killing me. That's far too much. One here. Yes! We did it! Okay, so can I actually delete some of those? I'm sure I can. So, Quadro, Control Shift. Let's start deleting. Nope. Not this one. Come on, see. Can I delete this one? Yeah. Still straight. Can I delete this one? Yes, it's still straight. Maybe here I can delete. Yeah. This? Yep. This? This? Nah. It's not working. I'm deleting now. How about this? Ooh! Not the face. On the edge. Seriously? Seriously, man? Okay. Yeah, I think that's cool. You think maybe we can do this one as well? Yeah. This one? Seriously? Come on. The edge, give me the edge, not the face. Give me the edge, the edge, the edge. Seriously? I need to tilt it around a little. Nope. Okay, we gotta keep that one on. Okay, I think that's okay. We reduced it as much as we could. Right? But you want it this way. And here as well, I think we might need to add one more. It depends on how you want it. If you want a sharper edge, you definitely need control. You definitely need another one. Yeah. Okay, let's delete this one. No. You need it there. Okay, well I think that's fair enough. That looks a little bit okay. If you want more sharp edges here, but I think it's gonna be the floor, and you're gonna have other stuff. So it depends on a lot of things. You know how you can add more edges. You know how you can remove them. You know, to try to reduce as much as you can. So okay, let's do texture. Assign new material, shader. Standard surface. Okay, let's delete a bit of the history. Don't forget to delete history because it starts building up and then you are in trouble. Whoa, okay. There is another thing. In this project specifically, I've always put the roughness down because it's a specific. I'm going to talk about it in the lighting video that I'm going to do. Because I textured and I textured it differently, and I liked that Disney effect. I know sometimes you need the roughness, but specifically in my project, I wanted everything like how do you say it? Not too much roughness. Well, I can't explain it, but you can see on the pictures that there is still some kind of a roughness, but I think for most of them I just really put it up to 1. So not to the lower one, if you understand what I mean. Because usually it's, if I do Command Z, usually is when you set up a material is on 0.2. I'm going to leave it like this so you see the difference. Okay, so let's save. Okay, oh seriously the hair. Okay, let's find one nice texture. Or shall I choose something from what we have? Let's choose something from what I have, so I don't, so you don't wait for me to download something. I'm sure I have some tiles or stones or something somewhere saved in my library. Okay, so what we do is we open. We're gonna do a tillable one. So we need to go File, Open Sample in Substance Painter. That is, yeah. Tiling material, open. Okay. Okay, so that's what you get. That's a tillable material means that we can. You see what it means. Let's delete all that. Okay, lovely. Shall we do stones again? So you see how I've done stones. Stone. There you go. We've got some nice stone wall. Ancient Greek. So we do. I think that's what I used actually. Ancient Greek stone wall. Wow, that's a lot of height there. Yeah, it looks nice. Shall we do this one? Yeah, looks really nice. No, it's not what I used. I used something else. Maybe the damaged one. Or the other Greek one. Nevertheless. Okay, let's turn on normal. Okay. Let's go here and reduce that pokey bits. Yeah. So it depends on how much height we want. Okay. Let's go more in there. So I can see the height, right? Okay. Alright. Still too much. Maybe we should go down to, shall we try 8? I think 8 is good. otherwise it gets quite distorted. Yeah, 8 is good. Okay, so let's export that now. Unless you want to put something else on the texture, but we're not going to do that. I'm just going to show you how to use the displacement map, yeah? So you can always add some dirt to it, some other generator or what you want, but for the moment we're just going to use the plain texture. So file, export texture. This is very important how you export it. Unfortunately, we'll need to change the name afterwards, but that's fine, fair enough. That's how it exports the tillable one. Okay, so let's save it into our project so we know where it is. There we are, new project. I'll save it straight in my source images. I will do wall texture, whatever. Create, open. Okay, so let's find Arnold. Okay, and this is very important. You need to export it as EXR to be able to use it as a tillable texture in Arnold, right? Okay, so here I don't need the emissive, I need everything else. Export, right? Okay, so let's go to... Okay, I'm not gonna waste time renaming the textures. You can rename it, you know how to rename it yourself. I think it's just, we're gonna lose time and it's gonna get really long, that video, and we don't want that. Okay, what am I doing? Plugging in the textures, right? Okay. Let's find them. Source image for texture, so we want base color. Now I can go to 6. Ooh, that's quite big. We'll fix that one. Let me just plug in the textures first, quickly. Okay, metalness. Go back. Find your... there. Source image. Sometimes that's so repetitive. I mean, like, when I was doing that scene, I was like... And at some point, I just... my head was burning and I was missing to do stuff. Go back to the metalness. And you need to... Okay, it's raw, that's good. Ignore color space rules. Not color balance. We need alpha is luminance. Okay, let's do the same for roughness. For the base color, no. For the base color, you leave it RGB and non-normal. For the metalness, roughness and normal, we do that. So, we're doing roughness now. Sometimes when I'm plugging in so many textures, you know, one by one, because at least what I do is like I first create everything and then I start texturing. Okay, what am I doing? Raw. Ignore color space file rules, otherwise it's gonna keep popping up a yellow message that the color rules are not correct, and it's gonna keep popping up. Because the usual ones are RGB, aren't they? Okay, geometry. Now we're going to bump mapping, file, okay, tangent. And the other thing is we need to change here is remove those. I recently actually learned about the flip thingy, and it is it's making sense. I was struggling with, I think it was with the ground or something else, and it wasn't rendering properly. I was like, what? But yeah, the flip thingy worked. Okay, let's plug in the image itself. Sometimes I feel like a machine when I'm plugging in so many textures. Normal. Okay. Raw. Ignore. Usually when it's an EXR, it recognizes that it's raw. But if I export it as a TIFF, I always need to change the RGB to raw. Okay, alpha is luminance. This is down. We plugged it in. It's because I'm talking and now I don't know what I did. Okay, perfect. Okay. Here we're gonna have trouble. Look. And we forgot to do one thing then. What did we forget to do? Do you know? Do you know what we forgot to do? Okay. Let me show you what we forgot to do. Even though it's still showing. But that's fine. Okay. Delete history. Modify freeze transformations. Let's go to the UV editing. Okay, so we deleted the history, we freeze the transformation. I usually, especially for walls, I just go automatic. And that's about it. But we'll need to flip them. Look, they're like upside down. Well, no, yeah. Okay, right click, come on, right click, UV shell. Grab everything. Rotate. So we get it where it's supposed to be. Yeah, that's not straight, is it? My hands are a bit shaking. Let's have a look. Come on. Awesome. It's really cool. Okay, it works. Okay, you know this, I think I'm a bit selfish doing this video. I think partially I do it for myself because I've spent so much time figuring things out, and then when I don't do it for a month or even a month and a half, then I forget how I did it and how I figured out my problems. So this is really good for me doing these videos. I hope you find them very useful as well. So let's go back to my classic. I took too much, didn't I? Okay, so let's go to the hypershade. That's the word, hypershade. Let's find our, what did we call that, wall, didn't we? It's you know, with the other scenes, I've got so many things, and this is like so full, and like scrolling to everything to find the texture you want. It's just like, oh my gosh. Sometimes I feel like I'm pulling my hair, but it's so worth it at the end. I mean, like after we render it, it's like such a satisfaction, isn't it? Okay, so we've got the graph here. What I want to do first is I want to reduce it a little bit, like tile it up a little bit more. So I'm going to go into each of these place 2D textures, and I will change the repeat UV for both. So let's try first with 3. I think 3 might work okay. It depends on, so we need to change all of them, yeah? And then we're gonna create a displacement map and so on. 3, and don't forget when you're changing it, to change it for all, because a few times I forgot to do it for the displacement map, because once you create a displacement map, then it's not, if you hit show the graph network, it doesn't show the displacement map. You need to, even though it's connected, you need to find it there. I'll show you later what I mean. Let's have a look. I think that's pretty good. What do you think? Pretty awesome. Yeah, let's save. Save, very important. Very, very important. And sometimes I'm dragging it, saving, because the big scenes, they take a while to save. Even though I always try, delete history, try to have as less geometry as possible, optimize the scene, because sometimes you have, you know, left out animations, curves, textures and whatnot, and you can't always do it as you go, so yeah. And the scenes are big. I mean, like, you saw the scene, it's like, it's huge. Okay, displacement. So tab, displacement shader. Okay, we don't need that because we're going to connect it there, so delete that. Tab, AI, color to float, we need color to float. Okay, yeah. And oh yeah, now missing the file, the texture file we need to plug in, don't we? Okay, so grab that, over here. Let me get closer. Oh, my vision is getting bad. Okay, so out color, that's my file texture. Out color. Come on. Seriously? Are you kidding me? I hate when that happens. Okay, so color input. Seriously? Are you kidding me? I hate it when that happens. Come on. Out value goes to displacement, right? Let me zoom out so you see what I'm doing. Okay. Let me make that bigger. Why am I not making that bigger? Got 4K screen. Okay, so seriously, my eyesight is, even though I changed my glasses recently. Displacement, and goes into displacement shader, right? Okay, so nothing happens obviously. We haven't set it up. What we need to do, first thing, always name your displacement map. I've learned that the hard way. When you have like 4 or 5 displacement maps and shows it as a displacement map, you can see here I've got new house models. I've exported it and imported it so many times, so it's got like, it's actually the new house displacement something. Okay, so yes, always name them. So that's wall 1, displacement. Did I spell it right? Displacement. Okay, save, very important. Okay, let's plug in the height, the displacement map, yeah? Where are you? Source image, or texture, height, that's what we need, right? Okay, it is raw. Alpha luminance ignores. No, was it this one? Yes. Okay. Now, obviously, we plugged it in, nothing happens. Yes, because what we need to do is we need to go into the geometry itself and tell it that we want to give it what we will need to add the displacement line. We'll need the geometry, right? So it's gonna kind of, the stones are gonna pop out, because at the moment we have the normal map. From the front, it looks amazing. When you add the lights, it looks absolutely amazing. But if you go from this side, look, it's like flat, isn't it? And let me add one. Come on. Lights, directional light. Let's go into lights to show you. You see what I mean? Bump it up a bit. There. So if you go from front, look, it's flat because it's a normal map. That's why we want the displacement map. That's why we want to add the geometry. When you look at it from the side, you actually have these stones poking out, right? So that's what we're doing today, right? Stop using right, I'm so sorry. Okay. So, what we need to do now is go into the geometry, go into Arnold, okay, scroll all the way down, look for subdivision. Here we need to do the subdivision, that's why I've actually put it into 3, so you see. If I go to 1, we've got these sharp edges, right? If I go to 3, you can see the texture is nice, so the displacement should work. Subdivision, cut Clark, yeah. Let's put, now it's coming, the baking process is coming into our help. Let's start with 3. Let's start with 3. That's how many times I want to subdivide it. Then go to displacement attributes, height. This is how much we want the stones to be extruding from the geometry, like the height map that we're using. So, shall we try with 10? Let's try with 10. Might be okay. It depends on how we've exported it from Substance Painter. You know, I think we exported it at 7 or 8, was it? I don't think it matters too much, anyways. 8, yeah. Okay, let's try with 10 and see what it gives us. Okay, so go to M. We go to Arnold, Utilities, Bake Selected Geometry. Okay, go to where you want to export it, because it's going to export it as OBJ file. Okay, set it where you want it. I'll put it in Assets. Whoa, baked. That's enough for me to know where it is. And let's see how it's gonna, that will show us how much height it's gonna render it with. Import. Where is it? There you go. Okay. Let's move it. Okay, I don't want to move that. There, I want to move that. Seriously? Where is my wall? Oh, there. Modify center pivot. You can tell I'm tired today. We didn't do anything, did it? Look, we've got absolutely no detail into it. Okay, so that's not enough. Let's do more. Let's try. Let's first get the height wasn't on 10, was it? Okay, let's try with 10. Why wasn't it on 10? I thought we did that. Am I going cuckoo? Oh, we did 3. I think I'm going cuckoo, ain't I? Okay, never mind. Let me name them. Yeah, I'm tired. I'm so sorry. Okay, let's try that again. Arnold, utilities, not Arnold, utilities, bake selected geometry. Let's replace that. Let's import it. Ah, you see what we didn't do there? I now remembered. Let's first see. I might not have done it properly. Okay, let's fix the... Remember when we put those to 3s? Well, the displacement mode, we didn't put it to 3s, did we? That's why I said you need to be careful. Okay, save. Let's do that again. Arnold. So we've got it 3 iterations and we've got 10 height, right? Let's see what we're gonna get with that. That's the process for, you know, if you have so much geometry and it takes quite a long time to render, it's gonna take you ages to figure out how much height and how much height. Is that how we pronounce it? Height, I think. Not as in hate somebody. Height. I think it's height. Oh, if my daughter were here, she would have corrected me. Let's import that. So that it takes a bit of time, but I think it's less painful. This process is less painful than rendering it every time when you have a big scene, that is. Okay, let me switch that off. Okay. All baked. Okay, center pivot. Let's have a look. Ah, that's pretty good. But still, we don't have it protruding. So, what we're gonna do is is the geometry okay? No, it's not gonna have enough geometry, is it? Yeah, we need to add some more geometry. And now it's gonna take longer to bake it as well, but that's fine. That's why we're doing this testing. Let's give it 5. Let's do 5 and let's do 30. Let's see what we get. Utilities, bake, replace, import. Oh no, it's taking time. You can tell, well, because we added more geometry. I think this is less painful process than rendering it every time, especially for big scenes. You know, I've got all these other parts of the house. I wanted to see how it would look with the other parts of the house, not just the wall. And having to hide everything, it's like, yes, you can create the layers on the side in the channel box, which is, you know, that's what I'm doing. But sometimes you've got so many things and you want some things there, but you want some things hidden. And I think this is a less painful process than waiting for it to render each time. For big scene, that is. I think for this scene it would have been actually quicker to render it. Well, you can see a few different ways of how I did my testing and how I did things. There we are, we're done. Yay! Well, my computer is a bit slow as well, so let's import it. I'm hoping this will do the trick, but at least even if it's not perfect, we know where we're standing, right? Because before we had nice detail, so that gives us a benchmark of how much to now be increasing in the render. It's a lot of geometry. Now it's gonna take its time to import it as well, right? Well, but that's a nice way of, you know, getting detail and even making your own normal maps and whatnot. Modify seriously. Okay, let's have a look what we got there. Very nice. Yeah. Very nice. Okay, so we can try rendering it with that, or we can try, let me hide there. Let me hide it. Okay. And let's try rendering it with that. Let's put one physical sky. That's what actually I used. I didn't use we'll go away. Let's go into file because the computer doesn't like it. Yeah, it's a big scene. That's why I have to scale the sky down. Let's just get the one light as well, area light, so we can place it on front. I'm not gonna go into details now with lighting and whatnot. You get the point. Actually, I think that I spent more time setting up lighting and rendering than creating everything itself. I'm not kidding. Okay. Let's do. What's happening? Where's my Arnold? Am I missing something or? Okay. Oh gosh. I've got two screens. I've got two screens and I've left. I usually when I use this one I put the Arnold render on my second screen. Oh. Okay. I'm back. So yeah, it was on the second screen and I was like, where is my render window? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Okay, let's get closer to that. Okay. Let's do that a bit bigger. Let's go closer. Let's go first, let's go like that. Let's increase a little bit here. Where's my attribute? Intensity. Let's do a bit more, right? Yeah, that should be okay. And then let's do the area light, a bit more exposure. Right? Let's give it a bit of a temperature. You know, it does that, it doesn't show you the temperature. That's actually really warm temperature now. And it doesn't show it there, so you would need to restart Arnold. It does that, and now it was so annoying. It was so annoying. It's actually a really warm temperature. Come on. Okay. So, you see? Let's see what it's gonna show if I... Yes, it's actually showing, but here you can't see the difference in the window. I'm in Maya 2022, by the way. So see how it's changing. I really like playing with the light temperature and the colors and whatnot. It makes it really nice. Shall we leave it a little bit warmer like that? Oh, I like it. Okay, so that's what we get. Obviously not detailed lighting and whatnot, but you get the idea. Let's go now here and see. Do we have enough displacement? Still looking pretty flat, isn't it? Okay, let's try a bit more. Okay, I think the geometry might be okay for now. Let's try with just with the height, not height. Okay, we have. Let's try 80. We're gonna crush. Let's try 80. Come on. Oh, you can see the difference now. I think that the height is okay. And here you can see now that it's kind of it looks okay, but we can play with this. I'll show you with the UVs. We can place it a little bit better maybe. I'll just show you how to do it, but it's not such a big deal. I mean, but yeah, it looks good, huh? Let's have a look a little bit. Where's the geometry and everything? Should we come closer? These are the we exported as a 2K. I didn't show you, but yeah, it was 2K. If you go to my computer now is like every time it's rendering it's like so slow doing other stuff on top. If we go to export textures and if you go to the default material, look, it's a 2K. So if you export it as a 2K, which is pretty good. Maybe I could have gotten away with 2K maps as well for my project. Maybe. Do you think it's got enough geometry there? Maybe not. Let's add it a little bit more. Shall we do 6? I think the geometry should be okay actually. Should be enough. Come on baby, you can do this. Come on. I think we might actually need to restart it. You can see just with one wall what's happening, right? Can you imagine with that whole scene? But it's a pretty cool trick, baking the displacement map onto the geometry to actually see the effect before you render it. It's pretty cool. I found that the hard way. Come on. Are you rendering or not? I think it's rendering. Shall we try oh, there it's starting now. Yeah, it needs a bit more geometry because otherwise you see the stones poking out. They're kind of, I don't think they've got enough geometry. But you get the idea, right? It's pretty cool. I think what I can show you as a last thing before we leave it. Maybe let's try to amend that side wall. Yeah. Let me show you what I mean. Okay. So UV shell, and I mean this one. So this one should actually, these two should be rotated differently. They should be this way. Remember we rotated all of them the same way, and we shouldn't have done that. Yeah. Now it makes a little bit more sense. I can try and place this one. Which one is this one? No, that's the other one. This one? No. Oh. Okay, so what we did is we did the top ones. Yeah. Okay, let's do the side ones. Who's not paying attention, that's what happens. Seriously, Alexandra? Okay. Oh, come on. What's wrong with my hands today? Okay. So let's try and place them next to this one so they kind of match. You see? There we go. That's much better, isn't it? Yeah, I think so. Makes a bit more sense this way. Maybe we can move it tiny bit. Can't really see, it's very dark. Should we work in one direction alright? Is that gonna help you think? Oh yeah, it's helping, isn't it? Rotate it a bit. There. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, sometimes it's like sorry, my allergies are playing up a bit. Sometimes it's just a like it feels like it's adjustment game, you know, puzzle. Yeah, I think that looks good. Come on, tiny bit. Yeah, that looks cool, doesn't it? I think so. I can't see that side. Shall we do one last render and we can leave it up? Come on, let's have a look. Okay, we don't need the directional light because usually it doesn't actually do anything for me. I don't know why. I just use it for my lighting in the Come on. And imagine when you add the atmosphere to the scene as well, and then the nice lighting. Come on, seriously. Pretty cool. We've got a nice stone wall. I still think that the geometry needs a bit more, so it depends on how much height you want. You need to add more geometry. So yeah, that's how I did my walls. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'm hoping that you know your modeling process and texturing process will be a little bit easier, because I remember trying to figure things out and it wasn't nice, you know, not having information to actually do what you want to do, because I really wanted to get this nice detail for my scenes, and you can't do that unless you use a little bit more geometry and use displacement maps and so on. So I hope you find it useful. Let me know if you want me to do real-time videos for any of the other things that I've noted on the scene. If not, the next video I will do is about lighting the scene and camera and depth of field. Anything else that we can cover? And rendering. Okay, well, there you go. It's done. It looks nice. I still think it needs more subdivision levels, but you can always add the iterations to it, right? Okay. I've got a nice gram there. Have a lovely day, and I hope I will see you soon. Thank you. Thank you for watching.